Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing tonight? Tonight, we're going to have a really great time. Tyler Ellison's with us too. We're going to bring him in a second. But as you guys know, me and Tyler are doing the event together, and we're doing that on the 25th and 26th, I believe, which is a Saturday and Sunday. This event right here, the Gateway of Gratitude, which is November 25th and 26th. It's going to be 2 days for 8 hours total, 4 hours each day. And that's Saturday and Sunday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's going to be for both days. And both days, Tyler and I are going to be hanging out with you. We're going to be chatting with you. And we're also going to do Q&A for everyone who's involved. And tonight, we're going to show you what that looks like in person and live. We're both here tonight. So we're going to bring in our good homeboy. We're going to bring in our brother, Tyler Ellison. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Rob. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great, man. And hello to everybody here. Thanks for coming to our stream.
Oh, it's amazing. And everybody in there is already excited. Mama Minga, hello. She says, hello, friends. We got everybody over here saying hi. So welcome, guys. So when we were talking about doing this event, the idea of gratitude was actually one that you came up with. It was an idea that was very powerful. Why gratitude? Well, what's the deal with gratitude that makes it so exciting?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's a phenomenal question. I really like gratitude because I feel like it's the underdog of positive qualities. It's something we take for granted because I think we have so much in our modern world where it's like things become, how would I put it, stale at a certain point in time. We get used to the routine, we get used to the people, we get used to the material gifts that we've been given. And I find when things get stale, it's like the whole reality starts to stagnate. It's almost like you're looking at the world in black and white. And what I have found in my own spiritual practice is the power of gratitude completely dissolves that type of staleness and that type of monotony that can manifest sometimes when we get accustomed to the usual hustle and flow of physical reality. And I've also found, this is, for me, this was huge, especially over the last 2 months. I found the more I got into the gratitude meditations, the more healing I had, because I found what was making my reality like stale and making me take people for granted was my own suppressed emotions, actually, like stuff I was just carrying. I didn't even realize I was carrying. So as I started taking time to just be grateful for simple things like food or water or a car, I started finding I began grieving. I just had all of this energy like leave me. And it was a pretty powerful purge. And it left me feeling so refreshed and like eternally grateful for this experience. You know, when we have that gratitude, I find it just makes everything feel sacred because we know it's finite, right? We know that this whole dream will go away at a certain point. So it's like, why not just appreciate it and make it the best time we can possibly have?
Sorry, I muted myself and then my mouse is over there. Yeah, the idea of gratitude on a basic level is something that's underestimated a bunch, not just in our community, in life in general. You know, you hear so many people talking about the things that are going wrong in their life. And, you know, I'm guilty of that a lot. Whenever I start to feel bad for myself, like, oh man, I've got it going hard and things are rough and blah, blah, blah. That also creates that energy to perpetuate inside of us and around us, you know, the creation of what we're doing in front of us. So I like the idea of being conscious and aware of the gratitude that you have, the gratitude of things in life that are great, and just like you said, the basic stuff. When you're considering that not everybody has a place to go at night to sleep, or has friends, family to be around to shake their hand, give them a hug. Imagine our lives void with all that, you know, in the opposite time. And just that energy helps with gratefulness. And I know, you know, having Jeremy at a young age, when I saw all the things that went on with him, it helped me learn how to be grateful. Like, oh my God, you know, I didn't realize humans have these things that they can never do and never experience. And just for that little bit, you know, even though I was bitter and angry at that time, it still gave me something to look up and say I'm grateful for. So, yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. And I find it to be the kind of the baseline level of positivity, right? Like if you can breathe and feel grateful for your breath, that gratefulness will start to make a pleasure, right? You'll be like, oh, wow, it feels good to be grateful. And then that starts to build from pleasure into happiness. And the happiness can turn into joy, right? It keeps stacking as that momentum is maintained. And what's amazing is the gratitude can also be applied to negative things. Like I found that even when I was like at the peak of the emotional suffering I was going through, there'd be moments where I would say, I know this is benefiting me in some way. Like I know this doesn't mean that things are wrong. This means that things are changing. And if I guide this just through me following my path and doing what I'm here to do, then how that changes will be objectively very, very good. And that started to bring gratitude into the suffering. And then all of a sudden it's like you're like crying, but then there's like moments of like, oh wait, this is like actually very beautiful. And it can really help with dealing with negative things, because like you said, when we respond or react rather to things negatively, we're just perpetuating that momentum. So to be able to say thank you to the thing making you suffer, like it's literally like you taking your power back and saying, I'm going to choose to be like positive towards this thing that maybe I was resenting or hating. And it's just like I'm going to curse a little bit here, but it's like a badass move in my opinion. Like that's like true power, to be able to look at those things and generate gratitude for what other people would normally curse or reject.
I love that idea, and you're right. Those bad things, when you first start your spiritual journey, a lot of people that I found, it's almost like honeymoon phase where they're really happy about everything, and then life starts settling in a year or two, 5 years later, um, and things can feel a little heavier. But if they've dealt with hearing the information and understanding their own instinct, then they do realize, first, I'm creating a lot of this energy around me in general, but I'm also creating my reality, and I'm also experiencing the effects of outside of me from an internal perspective. So if they can learn that early while everything's still going good and feeling all right, then they can bring that attitude to, oh my God, this horrible thing that normally I would have freaked out about, it still sucks and I'm still going through it, but holy moly, this is going to bring me something better. This is the change I needed. This is the change I've been asking for, but didn't know how to make it work. So I really love that idea too. Um, we've got a lot of people commenting, and I know we want to do some channeling. And we've got about an hour tonight to hang out. Did you want to jump into maybe getting ready to do a little channeling for everybody, and we could take a few questions?
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. So I will bring my guide, Ryokah, through, and he'll talk a little bit about the upcoming event me and Rob will be doing. And he'll also take the questions from the audience. So just a quick question on this, Rob. These are the questions that I've starred, right? These are the ones that I'll be answering. Is that the case?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna star some. You can star some. I'm just gonna read through them, and then when you get back and I'm ready to neutralize, you can chat with everyone and take their questions for Aridif or Treb too. So yeah,
Okay,
uh,
perfect. When I'm in the state, will you be able to read me the questions that the audience provides? Is that okay?
yep, I'm gonna be doing that 100%, and that way you'll be on there. I'm gonna put you up front so that everyone can get a good look at. Oh, wrong person. Sorry. All right,
It's all
there we go. So
good.
we'll get you out front. Um, yeah, I know it doesn't take you very long. Everyone in the chat, please feel free to just drop your question in the chat, and we'll add those to the whole list of questions, guys. All right, brother, I'm going to let you have it. If Ryokah could, come in and share a little bit of energy around whatever theme he feels is appropriate, then when he's ready for questions, we'll have some.
Okay, sounds great. So I'll dive into the state and bring him through. Have a beautiful time, everybody, receiving the information and the energy. And I hope you enjoy the answers that he provides. So sit back, relax, and I will return at the end of this transmission of Ryokah. mind, it is with great joy and passion that we greet you all in this way through this channel. We are so delighted to be here, for this transmission represents a new shift that is taking place within your species' collective consciousness. You are moving into a new energetic chapter of your collective story. For keep in mind that this month of November contains high frequency levels of what you would consider to be the scorpionic frequencies, the energies of the archetypal zodiacal power that you call Scorpio. This is the energy of ascension. This is the energy of transformation. This is the energy of death, decay, and new life. So many of you have been taking advantage of the energies of the fall season, utilizing the momentum of the Earth's gravitational power as a detoxificational mechanism that allows for you to release that which no longer serves you. And many of you have been lightening up, even though it may feel as if pressure for some of you has been added in certain areas. In general, your species has greatly detoxified. Even what you would consider to be the wars that are being explored and expressed across your planet are also a side effect of this purging, this release, this letting go. So you are all going through this process of release and now being more lightweight as a result. And as you experience that levity from that releasal process, it allows for your consciousness to more easily ascend up the various levels of vibrational reality that exist. This is going to enable many of you throughout this month to be able to perceive more greatly communication from specifically the ancestral world, the ancestral realm. For as we had said, the scorpionic frequencies have to do with ascent, but also descent. And sometimes those themes are explored simultaneously. And when you experience a vibrational descent, this does not necessarily mean you're exploring a negative theme or a painful theme. Sometimes this has to do with simply exploring something that is lower vibrational in the form of densification. So think of it like this. The energies of the ancestral realms are denser energies because, as you know, you put your ancestors in the ground and the earth decomposes them. And this allows for the ancestral beings to become a part of the earth collective matrix. And when you experience this descent energetically, it can allow for the ancestor spirits to be able to come through and interact with you and guide you on your journey forward. So for those of you that are interested in exploring ancestral healing and transformation, this is the time to really take advantage of that opportunity to really transform the energies that are a part of that ancestral lineage. For many of you have detoxed a great deal of your own, you could say, emotional baggage. Many of you have detoxified and released those limitations that were holding you back. And now that you are capable of doing this for yourself, you can now actually share these energies with the ancestral line, with the ancestral lineage, so you can experience a timeline shift in a way that represents more of your preferred direction. For when you transform the energetic quality of the ancestral lineage, your entire timeline changes through what you would consider to be the DNA altering its frequency, thus allowing for the DNA to channel in higher vibrational forms of light from various realities. As you connect more to the ancestral frequencies, what you will find is those energies of density that represent the ancestral worlds will attract in the energies of lightness that represent the higher dimensional planes. So as a result, through communicating more with the earth, through communicating more with your ancestors, you will, through contrast, begin to attract to you higher vibrational beings from the upper dimensions. And you'll find that this type of energetic pattern of increased communication with non-physical reality and beings will continue, and it will deepen. And this is all building. It's building to a point where eventually non-physical communication with spiritual beings, ancestral, extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial, will begin to become more common. And it will become commonplace for people on your world to begin to experience those types of psychic links and psychic connections. So right now you're paving the way for the other side, as you call it, to be able to make greater levels of psychic contact with your collective. And as that deepens and deepens and deepens through the years to come, your species will find that you are connected to a myriad of different realities, a myriad of different beings that have been around you all the time. And your species will cease to feel alone. You will start to recognize that life exists in many forms, and you've been interacting with these many forms subtly all along. So you have all of this to look forward to, and we thank you for receiving this particular message. We will now open up ourselves to be available for your specific questions.
Thank you, Ryokah. I appreciate you being here, and we have some questions too from people in the audience. We have Mr. Robot asking, do aliens have a soul as we understand the concept?
Sure. So we will talk about it like this. Anything that incarnates has a soul, but keep in mind there are different qualities of souls. Not all souls are built out of the same energetic, you could say, materials. There can be variations elementally, energetically, in relationship to the building blocks that actually compose a soul consciousness. So we'll talk about it like this. The stars that you see in your night sky are star gates. Souls will pass through these star gates and will then be drawn through resonance to specific planets, to specific bodies that they can incarnate into. So there are certain extraterrestrial beings that have souls that are not incredibly developed. They're more materialistically focused. And those are beings that you don't necessarily have regular contact with. They can be, let's just say, more in the background because they're operating on a level that is actually denser than what your Earth experience is like. So they're not always, let's just say, the most attractive beings for many of you to commune with. Yet they can still be contacted. There are beings, extraterrestrially speaking, that have very high quality souls that have been refined and developed through spiritual practice. So remember, souls gain experience. And it is the experience that is gained that matures and grows and evolves the soul. So through your incarnational experiences, your souls are maturing, they are evolving. Many of you, if you are physically oriented, will evolve and grow at a pace and at a rate that mirrors the collective evolution. So if you're an extraterrestrial being in a civilization that is materialistically focused, is not focusing on spiritual ideals or values, then the soul's evolutionary process will be much slower. But an individual at any point in time can begin some type of spiritual training. They can begin to cultivate energy and a strong connection to the universe and their inner self. And that being will experience a much more rapid rate of evolution. So there are many extraterrestrial species that have dedicated themselves to disciplined spiritual practice. The beings that you call the Pleiadians are an example of this. And this is why there are many Pleiadians that now express as full light beings, because they have been able to refine their soul to such an extent that the non-physical light of the soul became capable of actually dissolving the material body into its matrix, forming a type of body of light. So extraterrestrials do have souls, but just like people, they could be very evolved or not so much, depending on how that species or individual navigates their experience.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. We also have a question here from Colombo, and the question is the whole universe a hypnosis? And this is an energy, that the universe itself moves itself? And that's the question.
So we'll talk about it like this. There is a dimension, you could say, of hypnosis that is connected to your experience of incarnation. So when you are not incarnate, when you are in the spirit plane, you are seeing things objectively. You are seeing things without a filter. You are seeing things as they are. That's the whole point of the life review. When you leave the physical body and you experience that immersion with the spirit world, it's at times like you're watching a movie and you see your whole life flash before you, and you can see it totally objectively without your bias, without your prejudice. You can just see it openly, so you can get a clear context on how your actions and choices actually impacted the physical reality experience. So one of the things we are going to say in relationship to this is the hypnotic effect is used by the physical reality to create a type of attractive beacon for consciousness. So think of it like this. Spirits will exist in non-physical, and they will detect portals that open that lead to bodies that are being formed in different worlds, fetuses that are developing in different realities. And these portals will emit different frequencies of light and energy that can be very attractive to certain spirits and maybe less attractive to others. But yes, there is a type of, you could say, hypnotic effect to the incarnational matrix that is used to draw consciousness towards the incarnational matrix. And the more autonomous you are as a being, the more sovereign you are as a being, the more, you could say, autonomy you will be able to possess in relationship to experiencing one of those portals. For there are some spirits that are just drawn into the portal because it is so beautiful. It represents to them really what they're looking for in the incarnational experience, and they'll go right in. There are other spirits that have developed such a high level of mastery, they can look at all of the portals, all of the hypnotic effects, all of the invitations to explore, and instead will just ascend even higher. So it is the physical reality matrix itself that uses the hypnosis to draw consciousness towards it. It's not necessarily a manipulative tactic or anything like this. The physical reality matrix is simply presenting to the soul different options for incarnation that represent some of the soul's themes. But that can be experienced as a type of hypnotic quality, because once you go into that lifetime, you end up becoming convinced for a certain period of time that you are the character that you're playing out in that lifetime. And many of you will be convinced that your physical reality is really all there is for a certain point in time. And that's a side effect of the hypnotic quality. But at a certain point, as you gain more momentum in your spiritual process, you become less susceptible to those hypnotic prompts. And very easily, with practice, you can begin to maintain that level of lucidity that allows for you to know that your physical reality is in fact a dream. And that can allow for you to really lighten up, not take things so literally or so seriously. And it opens up your creative portal that you can use to channel energies from spirit into physical reality to more positively co-create whatever it is that excites you in life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And we have another question from Rec ongoing. Is truth simple and are lies complicated?
We will describe it like this. Truth is simple at its core. And what we mean by this is the fundamental truths are incredibly simple truths. But from those very simple truths, a myriad of complexities emerge. For example, we'll give you the fundamental truth: you exist. If you need proof, well, just continue existing and you'll find it. That's a fundamental truth. But as you can see from that simple fundamental truth of I exist, a myriad of other truths and other realities are born from it. So truth is very simple at its core, but from that very simple core, all types of different processes, all types of different experiences, all types of different realities are generated. Think of the seed that will become a tree. The seed is very, very simple. It has a very simple program within it: DNA, RNA. And when the seed is planted, all of that stored information then expresses as a myriad of different complex processes that then engender an experience. You could say that the experience is a type of lie because the experience is an incarnational perspective. It's a type of, you could say, hypnosis. So from that truth of I exist, you could say then a type of lie is generated. And that lie would be whatever the physical identity persona is that's generated from that simple truth of I exist. So truths can be all types of different things as well, depending on the perspective of the one whom is receiving or is observing the truth. So truth to some can be very, very simple. They hear it, it resonates, and they know it. For others, their paradigm that they're using to navigate reality may be very chaotic, maybe very, you could say, burdened. And as a result, when they hear truth, it seems incredibly complex. So truth will be different depending on how it is perceived. Truth at its core is pure simplicity, and complexity is generated as a result of this, and that's what prompts the evolution of consciousness.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I think that that's probably the last question we should take, just to make sure we get Tyler out of here in an hour's time. And that way it'll give me time to do. But thank you, Ryokah. We appreciate you being here as always. And we really enjoy the answers and co-creation.
Of course. We thank you for having us in this space. It has been so delightful to explore with all of you in this way our unconditional love to each and every single one of you.
All right, everybody. As Tyler comes back, we are going to chat for a minute. And what's going to happen, guys? I'm going to go ahead and neutralize for a few minutes. Welcome back, brother.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Thank you for the amazing channeling. We've already got more questions than what can get answered. So when you open up the starred side, you'll kind of see what's going on there. But I'm going to neutralize. I'm going to give you some time to hang out with everybody in the chat. And then I'll be back. I'll try to make it as quick as I can, so that way I can get everything set up and ready to channel Aridif when I come back. But we'll see you guys in a few minutes, and you're in good hands, guys.
Excellent. All right, Rob, enjoy getting ready. So everybody, thank you for being here with us tonight. We are so pumped for this upcoming event. Rob is a channeler I have looked up to, actually. When I first started channeling, I wanted to know who all the other players were in this world. And I remember stumbling upon Rob's work and just being like, oh my God, this dude is channeling everybody. And he's been doing this for like a while. And I was mind blown by it, because I was like, how is this not everywhere? You know, I think of all the big name channelers and I'm like, their names are everywhere, but this is like a type of channeling that's even bigger, encompasses so many species and beings. It's like, this should be in more places. And it really inspired me to, be diverse in my channeling. When I first began, I just tried channeling as many different beings as I could, and they all provided such diverse and powerful information. So Rob's channeling definitely has inspired me, and it's amazing to be able to create with him in this capacity. And I got to say too, it's been really nice to meet everybody here. The questions here have been great. So, being able to interact with this audience has been very, very special. And I got to say too, I appreciate the questions. We've had a lot of really good questions coming in here. We started some to try to take them in the channeling, but we can also take some here. I think we have about 5 minutes or so. So if people here have any questions that they'd like to have answered, you can go ahead and type them in and I can address them. These would be questions, I guess, for myself or about your spiritual process or anything like this. But if anyone does have questions like that, we can take them before we dive in. And there's been all types of interesting ones. There was let's see if I can find any in here. Okay, this question I thought was interesting. This is a starred one. This actually might be for Treb and Aridif, so I won't ask that yet. But yeah, I hope everybody here is doing well. I mean, the fall season can be challenging for people. There's less sunlight, it's colder. People don't always want to go out and do things. So I hope everybody here is doing well. And I hope you're finding that sense of community, wherever that comes from for you. And if this is that sense of community, then, awesome. We're happy to help co-create that with you, because there's so many, people on this path just spread throughout the world. So it's refreshing to be able to connect here if there's not as many people on this path in your immediate physical reality. All right, we have a few things showing up. Okay, Jennifer's actually asking something interesting. There are some questions going on here. This one I wanted to address. Jennifer asks, why is there nausea, head and hand movements during meditation? Just quickly to address that, these energies that you're summoning in during your meditative practice, they start to move through the body. And as they come into contact with a block, sometimes there'll be a spasm or a twitch, and that's the energy flowing through you, making contact with blocked energy. So usually that's why there's twitching. The nausea may have to do with perhaps meditating while there's food in the stomach. It may also be your body's way of letting you know maybe you're consuming something throughout the day that may actually be not supportive for the spiritual process or vitality. So I would say when meditating, do it on empty stomach if you can, and consider refining the diet so it is less cloying for the meridians. It will let the chi flow more smoothly through the body. Let's see if we have any other questions. So many coming through. I love how active everybody is here. It's like you just ask for questions once and then about 20 show up. It's amazing. Let's see. I think for Tyler, is channeling something you target to do for a living and you do already? Yes, channeling is how I, pay for my life. Really, it's how I pay for my insurance, my apartment. I mean, this has been pretty much a full-time, business and job and art form and spiritual practice for me. I mean, this is what I spend almost every day doing. I'm also an acupuncturist, so I do acupuncture as well to be able to support myself, because the online work is great and I really do love it. I really do value it. But there is something about being around people, working with people hands-on that for me is super nourishing. If I'm just doing online channeling, it's fun and I like it, but it kind of makes me into a hermit because I do all of it from my apartment. So, being able to go out into the world to offer service and skills for me has been pretty rewarding too. And let's see the second question. Does it require a special diet and style of life to remain compatible with the Ryokah connection? Yeah, sort of, kind of. So pretty much my connection with Ryokah is strengthened by my own spirit and spiritual alignment. So if I am treating people with love, if I'm treating myself with love, then that connection's always active. It's always strong. If I'm not responding with love, if I'm responding with fear or something like that, my connection with Ryokah will shrink. It will get smaller. I've had that happen a myriad of times. If I am not eating well, if I'm not eating right, that can impact the channeling connection. Absolutely. I myself, I just try to eat organic, low carbs. I try to do keto most of the time, but I focus on a lot of fiber. So a lot of plants, a lot of vegetables, fruits, berries. I did vegetarianism for a while. I do like it, and I do think it helped my channeling. But at this point in my journey, just grounding more, I've definitely gone back to the animal products. But I haven't found that it has inhibited my channeling at all, actually. Maybe if I eat a heavy meal before, it will. But really, I think the main key is eat right for your body, and that will create the balance needed for your spiritual evolution. So that's how I've learned to relate to the food, actually. Let's see. I think Rob may be back too. I can keep taking questions, but let's see. Bryson B asks, do you still do private sessions? Yes, I do. You can go to the galacticguide.com. It's guide, GUIDE.com, and you can book sessions with me there. We do channeling. I teach people how to channel. We do energy meditations. We do astrology readings. And there's all types of stuff I offer on the site. So you can absolutely find those there. And let's see, how do you experience the transition from Ryokah to Ryokah? As in, what is your personal subjective experience? And does your point of identity shift with it or because of it? Yes. When these name updates happen, my persona, my experience, my world shifts. When he goes through a name change, it is almost like a spiritual rebirth. So usually I'll be going through some type of spiritual, psychological rebirth process. During the change from Ryo to Ryokah, that was one of the craziest changes I had ever gone through. It was such a leap in consciousness because it involved, on my end, a great deal of purification and releasal of attachment and negativity that I didn't even know I was carrying, until that shift had happened. So it is a potent experience for me when those transitions happen. Yeah. Yeah. And Omni Collective says, I don't need a special diet to channel. It just is. Exactly. Some people, they're very resilient. Doesn't matter what they eat. And they're just going, there's like CEOs who have started like billion-dollar companies, right, that are eating like just, fast food and whatever. So for some people, their body types are just able to process whatever. And they're so driven with their goal, their intention. It doesn't matter really what's going on. They're going to achieve it. For other people, their systems might be more sensitive. I know for myself, my system can be somewhat sensitive. So everybody's a little bit different. Yeah.
I'm back too, brother. If first of all, I heard what you said while I was getting neutral, and I appreciate that. It's a compliment. And I the first time I heard of you, I think you and or maybe the person you were with at that time had contacted me, and I had heard your name a lot of times, and I went to your channel and looked at it, and I fell in love instantly too. I was like, man, this guy's good. And I kept my eye on you too for a long time, and I'm glad now that I'm finally back doing things like this and actually being a part of the community and not just hiding away for personal sessions. It's nice to connect, and you were the first person I wanted to do something like this with. So I appreciate you too, brother. I also wanted to tell all of you guys, I don't know if you guys heard through the announcements, but my personal sessions are done. So people can contact me and say, hey, who do you go to? Now you guys know. I'm looking at the opposite side of the camera. Now you guys know. So you got someone to go to get all your personal session needs taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and jump in, brother. That way we can still try to get you out of here in about 25 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then, all right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and channel. I'm going to put myself out here on the big one. And all the questions that are starred. Yeah, you got that. Yeah, you have no questions on your end. You got everything locked in.
I think so. I'm looking at the list of starred questions here, but we can just go through any of the questions, right, that people have chatted, or do you have certain ones that you'd prefer?
No, I don't. It doesn't matter to me. The only thing, as long the ones that are on the list of start, I've already looked through and are good. Collective or personal questions. But if you find one in the chat you like, throw it in. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, perfect. I'm already looking at some cool ones right now. So yeah, we're good to go.
All right, guys. All right, guys. You'll hear breathing and oming, and then Aridif will pop in. Have fun. We'll see you guys on the other side. And thank you, brother, for doing this tonight. It's really been amazing.
Hey, absolutely, man. My pleasure. Great to be here.
All right, guys. Here we go. Greetings to all, Aridif, Aridif, and this is its spell. We understand all of you have queries for this day, but before diving in to those queries, there are the two things that we wish to express. The first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within that same form of great excitement in which we co-create with you, not only in this moment, but through all moments of your linear time perspective. And of course, we will take your queries at your leisure.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Yes, of course, and greetings to Tyler as well.
Yes. Thank you. We have a very interesting question being brought to us from Mr. Robot. Are humans stuck in a human reincarnation cycle, or can I experience a life as a Sassani or an Aridif next round?
Yes, of course. First of all, understanding the incarnation cycle is important, yes, as so many entities wish to experience and express their own consciousness into physical bodies and do so in a system. All of you in this moment are doing human incarnation. And if you are not simply going from solar system to solar system, from planetary consciousness to planetary consciousness, you will find yourself in an incarnation cycle. And of course, most entities work through that linear perspective of experiencing the lifetimes in that planetary consciousness that are linear in nature. But it is not a requirement. It is not something where you are forced to go through the incarnation over and over. What most humans do not realize is that after you leave your physical body, what occurs is the re-amalgamation of your own consciousness and integration into that higher fractal consciousness. What this means is, yes, you will perceive your experience from your human perspective. And the longer you stay outside of your body, the longer you integrate with parts of the higher self, the higher perspectives you will perceive. So when you are perceiving yourself living in war zones, addicted to drugs and fighting through your life in poverty and illness, in your human perspective, you will express that was the worst life that I have ever lived. But once you integrate into your fourth density version of self and your fifth and sixth density version of yourself, you'll start perceiving reality from that soul perspective. And what that soul perspective says, I'm quite glad that I had a great amount of learning that occurred in this experience. I'm excited that through that pain and suffering my soul was able to grow. That is why most entities stay inside of the human incarnation cycle, not from that human perspective, but
the reintegrated part of you that worked so deeply in understanding the life that just occurred before you as well.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
So our next question. Which of our highly evolved galactic family who live in physical reality has the highest lifespan and is helping humanity in our recession?
Yes, if you're strictly speaking of entities that work with human beings, there are several that are close in nature. There are entities that are the Elohim consciousness that live over 12,000 years in one lifetime. There are entities that exist as ancient Andromedans that live nearly 23,000 years in one incarnation. But if you're speaking of the entire galactic consciousness, of course, there are many races we are unaware. Those that we do hold level of awareness that hold the largest lifespan are those that are infinite in their expression and embodied physically, but they are not embodied physically and do not work from the same system of soul incarnation and reincarnation working through the cycles. They are not evolving through densities, and it is only one specific race. This race is a race of beings that experience their own incarnation in one lifetime, and that lifetime is as long as the galaxy exists itself. Their purpose is to stay upon the planet and where the entirety of the galactic archives exist, and these are energetic archives. Yet the entities who hold guardianship to that regency hold one incarnation through that expression. There's one entity that exist in each density and have two counterparts with him, three beings that experience each layer of density and dimension, and those entities simply exist. Now, of course, due to the nature of the extreme closeness to that of the central galactic black hole, it spans their life in much different ways than you yourself experience time, and due to the nature of their own manifestation of physical body, similarly how humans manifest Jesuses and Krishnas, the galaxy manifests these beings to watch over those archives so that all things have an energetic representation in the galactic sense physically, and these entities have existed from the very birth of the galaxy and will exist until its end as well.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Bryson B asks, as we are ascending, will there be a few days of darkness? If so, what will that consist of? And how will it feel to emerge from that?
Yes, first of all, ascension from the perspective of humans is one greater, larger event, and of course that can occur, but the majority of ascension happens on individual scale. All of you are already fourth density beings. All of you have been fourth density beings for some time. Some of you who are younger in years were born into the transitionary phase, going from your year of 2003 to the year of 20 and 21, 9 years upon both ends of your 20 and 12 region. That is the time for acceleration of third density consciousness to help shift the entirety of the collective into fourth density. If you are speaking in dimensional terms alone, all of you have already ascended. But all of you also understand the connotations of what it means to be ascended. What it means to be ascended is truly embracing that in which you are. And now all of you are fourth density beings. Some of you are starting to receive, experience, and express those terms into a greater co-creation collective. And all of you are accelerating in both your growth and understanding daily. That is because you are no longer working in the same restrictive format in which all of you have, who were born before that time period. All of you who lived in your 1980 decades or before realize what permanence of physicality, reality existed before those terms. Yet as that energy continued to perpetuate and move, now you start to understand what full density truly is. Those of you who have dared to go deep inside of yourself and work with your guides, work with your own higher fractal consciousness, see the fruit of that expression all of your days. The continuation of that energy will shift the entirety of that collective in some terms as an experience of co-creation. At that time, there may be war, there may be darkness, but the collective sense that holds can do that if desired, if humans work together to simply experience that threshold as a very peaceful understanding. No wars required, no Armageddons in that way. The simple expression of how it turns is how all of you are dictating by experiencing yourself in this moment, by expressing the amount of excitement you have for the world to grow without difficulties, hardships, etc. So continue working with yourself and you will perceive that energy.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
From John Scussel, what is a technique for tapping into or finding specific frequencies within our consciousness? For example, abundance, health, and peace.
Yes, first of all, to understand what those frequencies are the most important. Now we understand there are quite literally millions and trillions of probabilities that you can create as a tool to work with those energies independently. We have shared several thousands of those with the Earth as we have co-created. But what must realize is that all of those are simply tools. When you are visualizing in meditation that you desire abundance and start visualizing yourself living in the region of the world that you wish to exist, living with financial income and abundance all around you, yes, this is one tool. But knowing what that frequency truly means and replicating it in your daily expression, replicating the emotion of satiation within inside of yourself as it pertains to that specific construct you desire to create, by expressing the entirety of the emotion inside of yourself once you feel completion and creating that as your default energy. That is the simplest way and the least resistant path to creating those energies inside of you as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So this question is very interesting too. This kind of parallels and piggybacks off what we were speaking on earlier. This is from Sylvia in Sarah. She says, hi, usually we hear about the negative aspects we need to heal from our ancestors, but perhaps there are positive aspects that we can obtain as well.
Yes, of course. The construct of what occurs within your own genetics, both energetically and through the physical aspects of genetics, can be found at all times. Most of you have a general understanding of who your ancestors were. Some of you traced back hundreds or thousands of years and perceive the location inside of the world, the time region in which these entities appeared. This gives you a greater idea and perspective of how to work mentally and with your psychology to work towards finding those answers. For example, those of you whose family had lived in Australia and done so for hundreds of years, you can find the history of what that region was, the time period, and what good that those humans in that region did. You can go find the ancient Vikings, Norse human beings, and look at through that time period where your family existed in that region and take the aspects, positive nature of those experiences. Wherever you desire, you can mentally allow yourself that exercise, energetically, working from the understanding that all of your ancestors had at one point been true shaman beings, connected to the earth, working with that magic format of their own internal consciousness, working with a great connection to the earth, and bring that through your genetics as well, energetically. You can perceive the construct of the ancestors you know, and simply absorb those very fine qualities that you found from them. Many of you can remember your parents and grandparents. Some of you may remember your great-grandparents. Simply take the parts of those beings that you truly loved and integrate their own consciousness as that part pertains to their consciousness and bring it forward inside of you. This will help all of you integrate the positive attributes from your ancestors as well.
Excellent. That was beautiful.
Yes, of course.
All right. And I think we have time for one more question. This one's from Anna Legre. And the question is, what to do when... Okay, actually, let me start from this point. Many people react negatively to a strong flow and emanation from my heart center, which is how I walk into the world. How do I speak to this? It's happening a lot.
Yes, first of all, recognition of your own heart and the power that sits behind that love. Yes, you understand very well because you are experiencing that energy. Now, try to place yourself in the feet of others. Many humans are afraid of love. They are afraid of a human being who holds an affection for them without reason. They have grown paranoid in the Earth collective consciousness. There's an expression that humans utilize that nearly encompasses the entirety of what you are experiencing. You cannot trust a person who smiles all of the time. You cannot trust a person who wants to help you for no reason. You cannot trust a person who seems to be bright within a co-creation of hardship. All of these terms are similar to human constructs and verbiage that is used to describe. By default, it scares those humans who have walls around their hearts. When these humans are co-creating with you and perceive that great love scares them, they ask themselves, why have I not had this experience in my own incarnation? Why have I not found other humans who are doing this? That means there's something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with them. And it is much easier for the human psychology to point the finger externally than to point back into themselves. That construct is the majority of that reason why. But there are other aspects of your own consciousness that scare humans as well. Whether you understand or know the consciousness behind your own energetic field, there is a slight form of reptilian energy that emanates from you as well. This also confuses those that are sensitive to energies. They are saying, why is this reptilian feeling being smiling upon me? And this is not a conscious thought for most humans, but it is very ingrained in humans to fear reptilian consciousnesses. The experiences that humans held with interacting with reptilian beings creates that fear genetically. So part of that energy, albeit small, still exists within that region. Now we understand the time for this day has come to its end, but before disconnecting, we wish to express to all of you that as we are co-creating with you, taking queries from your own perspectives and feeling that energy in co-creation, we are able to see parts of you that we have never perceived previous. And because all of us are one, it allows us to perceive the parts of our own consciousness that we have never seen before previous. We congratulate all of you for your growth and expansion through the co-creation and collaboration with ourselves. We wish to thank you for the growth you have given us as well. We wish to bid all of you adieu for this day, and not only are you loved, but we love you as well. And of course, we wish to bid you adieu, Tyler, as well.
Of course. Thank you so much. It was beautiful to interact with you.
Yes, of course. Adieu. All right. How'd it go, everybody?
Very good.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Good. All right. Yeah, we're over the mark for you. All right, guys, we're not going to stick around too much longer, but I did want to say thank you guys for being here and asking questions. I hope you got some good answers. Also, if you guys want to join me and Tyler together, we're going to be doing this on I always have to check the date. I'm horrible. 25th and 26th this month, at the end of the month, the day after American Thanksgiving, 2 days after American Thanksgiving, 25th, 26th. So the day after Black Friday, we'll be here. You can go to etwhisper.com and click on this picture right here, and it'll take you right to registration. And join us there if you guys are going to. And if not, come back to this channel, come back to Tyler's channel. And Tyler, let everybody know too how they can find you on YouTube and through your website.
Sure. So my website is thegalacticguide.com, and there you can book a variety of different appointments and sessions with me. I offer trance channeling like what you experienced here tonight. I also teach meditation. We do astrology and life path readings using numerology and a variety of other tools. So the Galactic Guide is the best place to take advantage of the different services that I have. If you're looking for content, if you want to hear more of Ryokah's channelings and all the previous iterations of Ryokah and the channelings, my YouTube is Health Thyself, and we have tons of videos on there. We have videos going way back before I even made contact with Ryo and Ryokah, so you'll find some gems there. And I'm also on Patreon, and my Patreon name is just Tyler. Actually, it's the Galactic Guide, excuse me. The handle is patreon.com/thegalacticguide111. And the Patreon is a subscription service where if you sign up, we have different tiers. Pretty much all of the tiers get to come to our Monday Q&A. We have a regular 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Q&A every Monday. And I think it's every tier except the first tier is able to attend those. And the more advanced tiers offer regular private sessions with me. In some of the tiers, I'm actually making magical objects and doing magical rituals on behalf of the patron. So we have a lot of cool opportunities on Patreon that you can also explore. So those are the three main places to find me.
Well, thank you, brother, for coming. I look forward to doing our event together at the end of this month. And it's been fun hanging out with you, as it always is. But I know you got a schedule to keep. So thank you, brother, for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. This was a blast. Great way to celebrate a Friday.
I love it too. I'm really excited about going forward with this. And I always enjoy my time with you guys in the chat too. You guys are always great. Thank you guys for coming. And we'll get a little bit of everybody's love here. Thank you guys so much for everything. We love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being awesome. We'll see you guys. Actually, I'm going to be releasing, I forgot, I'm going to be uploading the Galactic Weekly channeling before the night is over because it is Friday, but I wanted to do this first. So if there's two videos competing, I'd rather people see this one because the Galactic one will be up forever too. And then also Wednesday, I'll be there Wednesday, and we'll have Sindrine, or not Sindrine, I'm sorry, Georgia Jean's going to be a guest on the show Wednesday, and Tyler's going to be coming back as a guest before. I don't know if it's before the event or not. Either way, I'll let you guys know how things are going. Thank you guys for being here. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you again, brother. You're amazing. I love you, and I appreciate you being here.
I love you too, Rob. Thanks so much, man. This was a blast.
It was. I love it. And we'll see you guys soon. Yeah, we'll put Tyler's links into the chat too, guys, so that you can see that, not in the chat, but in the pinned comment of the video after it processes. So give it about 5-10 minutes, and when you come back, you'll see all the links there too, guys. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Well, no.
Sorry, I'm still trying to ground. We'll see you when we see you guys. All right. Love you guys.
Absolutely.
Bye. Thanks again, brother.
You got it. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.